Okay, update on the bike situation. So as you know, Seth's bike got stolen again for the second time a few days ago. I'm currently really ill, by the way, and I've had to deal with this with man flu. Anyway, a friend of a friend through the long arm of the rugby club once more came good. Somebody spotted the bike for sale on the marketplace, and then I spent a while, trying to make the guy feel comfortable and safe that I was legit and wanted to buy the bike off him. He even insisted on calling me and speaking to me, saying he'd been ripped off before by people when he's selling bikes and stuff. I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. And then he told me he'd be bringing his dad with him and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, mate, And he's like, oh, how come you're after a bike? And I was like, oh, I'm going to the Lake District with some friends and they're mountain biking. I don't have a bike, so I just wanted a cheap bike, just for the weekend sort of thing. Then I'll probably get rid of it when I get home. So properly used all of my Paul's Grove kind of spider senses to get into this guy's head and convince him that I was proper legit. So I get to the station and he's just not turning up, and I'm calling him and he's like, yeah, there's a little side road as you go down to the station, because he arranged to meet me at Fratton Station. He said, and there's a park down there, if you meet me there we can sort it out there. And I was like, mate, there's no way I'm riding down to a random park in Fratton with 200 quid in cash in my pocket to buy a bike off you. Like, I've got to put my safety in here. I don't know who you are. He's like, yeah, fair enough. I said, so, I'll be near the ticket machines at the station. Put the phone down. I go in and talk to the guards in the station, explain what's going on. This guy's stolen our bike. He's arranged to meet me here. He thinks I'm buying it, but obviously I'm going to take it back. And I said he might try and resist that. I said, so if you could call the police if it starts kicking off, that would be handy. Basically, I didn't trust myself with the guy because I was so mad. Anyhow, all these dodgy sort of characters kept pulling up and making out to buy tickets, and I'm like, I'm not an idiot. My situation awareness is pretty half decent, growing up in Paul's Grove. So I'm standing, I've got my back against the wall, I'm doing it all, I'm scanning everything, I'm watching everyone, because in this day and age, I'm thinking it's not just going to be a punch-up. Somebody could potentially pull a knife on me, right? Because the sort of guys stealing these bikes are addicts and stuff. I did take along my brother-in-law. He's sitting in a car just off in the car park, kind of watching me, and I asked him to film as soon as the guy turned up. Eventually the guy turns up, but he's kind of stops about 20 meters away from me, and he's kind of calling me over, like, and I'm like, no, come here, mate. And he's like, no, come here. Anyway, he's obviously desperate for money, so I could tell he was not sure, and he thought maybe something wasn't right because it was taking him so long to turn up, and I had to keep calling him. And eventually what I did was I said to him, look, you're messing me around, mate. If you're not here in 5 minutes, I'm going. So that was a bit of a tactic to make him feel like I wasn't asked. I was just going to leave. Do you know what I mean? So that worked. That's when he did turn up. So and he's like, oh, the bike's down here. I've chained it up down. I said, why wouldn't you bring it here? He's like, oh, no, I've left down there because, and he come up with some ridiculous excuse. So I had to give a bit. I didn't want to walk away from the station and the guards and the cameras down a dodgy side road, but I kind of had to. So I started following him, and he starts talking. He's like, yeah, just want you, have you got the money then? I said, yeah, of course I've got the cash. And he's like, well, can you show me it? And I was like, I'm not showing you the money, mate. So I send the bike. And he's like, well, you're a pretty big dude in that, so, I want to be sure you ain't going to mug me off or something. He was proper pompy. And I'm like, well, and this is the point where I thought I'd lost him because I didn't have the money and I couldn't show him it. And I'm like, well, I said, I'll be honest, mate, I didn't, I don't know you. I'm meeting you in the middle of nowhere. I've left the money in my van in the car park. I said, if you can show me the bike and I'm happy with the bike, we'll go back and get the money, all right? And he's like, he stalled for a minute. He went, yeah, okay. So I think he he wasn't sure, but I think I just managed to think really quick on my feet and convince him. Anyhow, I know this story's going on, but it was good. It was kind of good fun at the end. We get to the bike. I grab hold on to the top tube, and I'm like, yeah, it's got a nice bike in it. He went, yeah, it's a brilliant bike, isn't it? Lovely, and really good nick, isn't it? And I said to him, I looked down at the bike and I went, yeah, I remember putting those pedals on it. And literally he just froze, and his jaw, man, it just hit the floor, and he realised he was done. In the meantime, my brother-in-law had walked up 100 metres behind or so, and he was now filming this going on. The guy didn't know. And I said, number one, the guards are aware. They've been watching on the CCTV. They've got you on it. They're meeting me. I said, number two, my brother-in-law's there. He's filming you. So I suggest you unlock the bike now and give me it. I said, otherwise things are going to get really bad for you. And he literally just like, what blew my mind was he started going, well, what about the guy I bought off? Because supposedly he bought it off someone else. I said, that's not my problem. I said, crime doesn't pay. You know, so if you're out of pocket, that's on you. I'm sorry. Bad news was the seat and post was missing. But I go down to the station to tell the guards, yeah, I've got the bike back, but I've lost the seat. And he went, oh, I've seen one in the bike shed. So he takes me round there. It's Seth's seat and post. It was in the bike shed at Fratton Station. How it got there, I don't know. Anyway, big shout out to my brother-in-law for coming along as me extra security. And yeah, another great bit of detective work, and that's twice now we've got the bike back, and I'm considering signing up for the police force, although maybe I'm too old now, possibly. Or if not, I might start kind of just doing stings and putting nice bikes in places, hot spots where they get stolen, and just staking it out. It's actually quite good fun. So thanks for Ross for sending me the link to the bike, and thanks to Steve, my brother-in-law, for coming along and backing me up. And if you've made it all the way through this video, well done to you on your Friday evening too. See you later. Have a great weekend.